Elite Motivation brings you EM Healing, a space to create the conversation, to open up places within ourselves that we've never had conversations about. Season 4 invites you to listen in on our multi co-host lineup to open up the conversation with myself, Mahatma Starseed,
and Gail Lynn, a returning co host from Power of Self Healing, and Alejandra Brody, a new co host to the show. Healing our story of lying to ourselves on there. And I climbed up crazy part of a mountain to where there's someone's house over there. I don't
Oh
even
yeah,
it would be funny if it was like your house. I was just like
could have
sitting
been.
because like it was 2020 when I was
Yeah,
out.
that's why I was there.
Yeah, it was 2020. And I was staying at someone's Airbnb that was like right down the road. Um, and she was the one that told us like, yeah, go to Thunder Mountain and to the bells and stuff. And I got introduced to it that way. And what a vortex. What
Yeah,
a vortex. What a
yeah,
vortex. It was an amazing experience. So I love to see how um, that energy gets to come back. When you're thinking and seeking authenticity, you get to see what comes back. I at that point in time, I was, everyone else was like ringing with what 2020 was for them, and for me, I was just like, I really don't care about any of that stuff. I wasn't part of it, and so I have nothing to do with that. And because I was already like 6 months earlier, I got my concussion. I was already in the house. I was
mm,
already experiencing what everybody else was experiencing. So
mm-hmm.
it was like, oh, welcome.
Right.
And so when I got to go out, I had to go out in nature. I had to like be somewhere else other than a lot of noise.
Yeah.
And that was a big thing for me, stepping into my podcasting, what we're doing today, AM Healing, which is essentially, my main business is Elite Motivation, and my motivation was needing some healing,
Right.
and so this is how this came into being, and being able to expand and reach and find so many different people, that was really pivotal for my transformation. And I wanted to see how I can offer that, to do more. And so this year I was like, let's do the three-way conversation. I'm going to try and introduce it to people the best I can. I am learning that my verification isn't the most clear, and I'm we're all learning that, but at the end of the day, I have to be able to just show up. And because I want it changed, I have to accept that change was sent to me too. And so, among like in the middle of me asking new people to come and do this new thing with me, my anchor, my podcasting platform was purchased and merged, and they took away the way that I can record on a mountain like effortlessly. And now I have to like try to go buy some gadget that is outside of my phone so that I don't have to worry about my storage being taken from me, because I had to spend like a month and a half just removing stuff from that library. So it's okay.
Wow.
I I I
Well,
got
I
through
mean, you
it,
said,
right?
I think, as long as we can be authentic, and I mean, I had a mentor that I used to do leadership training, and I had a mentor that let me go out on stage and do this leadership and transition. And I lived in the Detroit area. I, had a seventh grade educated dad. And, I said things like, I had went there and I seen this. And then the universe is so funny, put me together with a guy whose mother was a literature teacher and couldn't even listen to me talk because she was like, oh my God. And I asked my mentor years later, I said, why did you let me go up and talk to all these people with this horrible grammar that I had? And he said, you were so authentic and people loved you and you had the best reviews. He said, what would have happened if I told you your grammar sucked? And I said, I would have been self-conscious about it and I would have focused on that instead of the communication I was, trying to give out. And he was like, exactly. He
Right.
said, so But I said, oh, you're like, you humiliated me. You did this to me. You know, you let me go out. And he's like, I didn't do anything to you. I let you be your authentic self.
I love that. I love that. My first language is Spanish. So a lot of times I can't think of the word in English. Like I have to translate everything in my head before it comes out of my mouth. So a lot of times the words come out wrong too, or it's like I'll pause because I'm like, okay, what is that word in English so that I can say it, you know? So, but again, you know, that's what everyone said. It's like, well, that's what makes you you. That's what makes you more authentic, you know? And then when I try and go to Italian, which I also speak some, I'm like, oh, forget it. Like now I'm translating to two languages to get here, you know? So you know, it's fine. It's fine. We all just are who we are and we speak the way we speak and it's all good, you know?
I think your English is so beautiful. You don't even have an accent for having your first language being Spanish.
It's so funny. It depends where I am, what people will say with that. If I go home, people will they'll say that I lost my accent like in Spanish, you know, and that I
Yeah.
sound, but then other people will say that I have an accent in English. Like, I'm like, I don't know, you know, it's like born and raised in Texas, learned to speak Spanish before I didn't speak English, so I went to school. And now I live in Florida. Take it from where you want, put me wherever you want. Doesn't matter, you know, it's all different.
Take me for how
My
I am.
sister, I grew up in Michigan and I spent 10 years in Texas. So she said I have a Michi Texas accent.
There you go. See, I mean, you just pick it up along the way. I spent 4 years in Indiana because I went to college at Notre Dame. So, you know, the Midwest has a very definite accent, that's for sure,
Yeah,
that I could always
agreed.
hear. Yeah.
That's a really good topic. I want to spin off of that. I'm just going to ring the bell to commence this beautiful moment. And this is EM Healing.
Oh, I like that.
To bring into a new fashion, I am Mahatma Starseed here with my beautiful co-hosts, Alejandra and Gail. I'm going to let them introduce themselves a little bit more. This is very, and like, this is just a beautiful moment to unwind, to open up, to be in conversing lingo. It's a place to feel open enough to navigate your own peace as you hear other people finding their peace in their life. And we were already having this beautiful conversation, and I wanted to just jump right in and start really having that conversation from there. But before we have that, I really want to get some formal information out because everyone has not met Alejandra yet. And so I want to give her a moment to introduce herself, and we'll have Gail reintroduce herself back to the stage. Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you for having us. Oh, did you want me to start? Is it me now?
Take it
Um,
away, Alejandra.
all right. All right. Well, thank you both for having me here. My name's Alejandra Brady, and I am in Tampa, Florida. I am a feng shui expert. I am a biophilic and interior designer, and I am a best-selling author. So I don't, how much do you want from me? Like, been married 34 years, have a child who's 30, 4 rescue dogs. It's all good.
What? I do not believe it. Now I know how other people feel when I tell them how old I am. I'm like, what?
I'm 57 on the 14th this month. Yep.
Beautiful,
Yep.
beautiful.
So thank you.
This is when I tell people life choices bring you to the right courses.
I will say this because so many people have commented on it. Ever since the feng shui and the kind of aligning my purpose with my lifestyle now and kind of living out my purpose and doing what I'm supposed to be doing, people that have known me for 30 plus years have kind of started saying I'm the Benjamin Button, you know, I'm going backwards. And I'm like, I think it's because I'm just really aligned. Like I'm not fighting my
Yeah.
life every day anymore. You know, I mean,
Yes.
surgery after surgery after surgery. And finally, it was like, okay, I get it. I'm supposed to stop. I'm supposed to pivot. I'm supposed to stop the noise, right? And stop the madness. And once I did that, everything kind of shifted and changed. And my looks along with it, honestly. It's really weird. If you see pictures of me like from 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I probably do look younger now. And it's just weird.
Right. I agree.
You know, and I cop to the Botox. I do Botox twice a year, but that's it. like that's it. Like, I mean, hot yoga, Pilates, but yeah, something weird. And I really do think it's energy. People are seeing my energy, and
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what's leading the way now, right? And maybe they were seeing
Yeah.
my energy before and that wasn't leading the way and it wasn't so great.
Right.
It works both
100%.
ways.
100. Yeah, I don't feel the age. Like I, I was speaking previously about, EM healing came because
Hmm.
of concussion, and because of that, like I wouldn't say I lost, I'm just without a lot of the connection to the memory. So like I can see pictures and I'll be like, oh yeah, of course that's me. I have no idea who that is though, but yes, that is me.
Wow.
And I have to stare at myself because I'm like, this energy that I'm holding then, totally different
Yeah.
person. Totally different. I'm looking at pictures and I'm like, why did I cut my hair like that? What is like what was I trying to cut out of me?
Hmm. Hmm.
And to see myself now, I'm like, I do feel and look a lot younger. This is my 40th year being here. And my oldest is 20. And I tell that to people where I work at part time, and they're like, no. And I'm like, yes, like, I mean, it's nothing but a identification for me. It's an
Hmm.
identification of how long I've been able to withstand in this vibration. That
Hmm.
is about how much weight I put on that number. So like, I think it gets to be more fun now for like people like us. So like, we're like, yeah, 57, feeling.
Well, it's just a number, right? I mean, it's all about how you feel, and I like telling people my age, because a lot of people are still kind of transitioning and trying to figure out what they want to do, and it's like, oh, it's too late for me to start over. It's too late for me to do this. Oh, I can't start now. And I'm like, my spiritual journey started at 50. So it's not too late. No matter what day you are today, you can start this. It doesn't matter. And I think that seems to be helpful when I share that, which is part of why I share my age. And I've always shared my age. I don't really care. I'm not a person that says like, oh, don't ask me how old I am. I don't care. I am what I am. But I do think that it helps people understand that, if you didn't start this at 20, that you can't. You can start any day.
Big, 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 big facts. Big facts.
Hmm.
But that was your intro, which triggered me into
Yep.
saying more. So thank you very much for sharing your space and coming here onto the platform and having already a magnanimous conversation with us. And so Gil, yeah, please reshare you and your harmonic egg. I don't know if she's told you about it, but we
Not
love
yet.
it.
So, oh my gosh, how do I play off of that introduction? So, I've reinvented myself 4 times. I was in automotive engineering. I was in international telecommunications business as an owner of a telecommunications firm that did consulting with the telecommunications industry. Then I jumped over to Hollywood, and then I jumped into where I am today, health and wellness, as the inventor of the harmonic egg, which is a sound and light healing chamber that helps people to really connect to their higher self, their source or God energy. And really, I want people to look in the mirror and see the queen, um, crown on their head, or his, hers, king, queen, princess. I want people to know how magical they are. I want people to know how amazing they are. And I think Alejandra's saying the same thing. I'm 54 and I am feeling the best I've ever felt. Love my life. I have a horse and I have 2 new kittens that have taken up residence in my barn, but they get free board and free food if they get the mice. And so
Yep.
they've presented several mice to me in the last few weeks, but they're adorable. I don't have any children. I've been married twice. And I feel like I've been on a spiritual journey since probably I was born, but really recognized it when I was 28 years old. And I feel like I've outgrown some of these guys that I was with. And one of the
Mhm.
things that I was always telling myself, I always have to be the man in the relationship. I can work on engineering stuff. I can wire up a porch light. I can fix a fence. I can fix my sprinkler systems. I can do all that. But I wanted someone to treat me like the divine feminine that I am and the goddess that I am. And I didn't recognize that until I met my Viking warrior boyfriend, who's been in my life for 10 years now. And he's the one that lifted me up and allowed me to be the divine feminine, which then helped me to create this harmonic egg, which is a large wooden egg that people can go into. It's very simple, it's very basic, but using sound and light to help the body reset, to rebalance, to heal, and to really own your true power and who you are. And so that egg is obviously feminine. And I didn't want to create a franchise model because I feel like that's so patriarchal, it's so masculine. And in the age of Aquarius now, we are coming more into the divine feminine. So I created a feminine business model of cooperation and not competition, where all my egg guardians are in community and we support each other and we create abundance for each other. The business model of the rich guy or the rich person at the top doesn't work anymore. How much is too much? Do you need 15 mansions and 25 cars and a boat and a plane? And I mean, how much is enough where you can start to give back and to start, really help creating abundance for everyone so that we can all be in joy and happiness. So that's what I've been trying to build, and doing these podcasts brings awareness to the harmonic egg so that all my 150 center owners can get clients and have more abundance.
Do you have any in Tampa?
We have, let's see, they're in Vero Beach, they're in Sarasota, they're in, I'm trying to think of all the locations on the website, harmonicegg.com, locations, put in your
I'm
zip
going to
code,
need
you
to
can
look
find
for
them.
that. Yes, I'm going to look for
Yeah,
that.
I mean, Key West, so they're all over Florida now, but yeah, 150 locations, and
Amazing.
it's not my invention. Being from automotive, I always thought women don't invent things, men do. I know, go ahead, women, you can slap me. Women invent things too, right? And so I invented this, but it seemed really surreal. And I don't feel like it came from me, it came through me.
Through me.
And it's helping tens of thousands of people to just really own their power, find their true innate ability to heal. And every day the testimonials make me cry. People not wanting to commit suicide anymore, people healing from, really stage 4, diseases, because they've reset their body and trusted their body and listened to their body and actually can heal. We've been so hoodwinked to believe that we can't heal. How do we believe that we can heal a broken bone, but we can't heal from, say, Parkinson's? I think a broken bone would be harder to heal than Parkinson's, but we do it.
Yeah, it's very true. It's very true. And I'm in a pursuit to getting to a place of getting my like deserved healing. Because yes, I'm fully capable of having a conversation with people and, doing things, but is it to the fullness of what I know that I am capable of? Only I can weigh that. And so things like the harmonic egg would be so helpful for me. I'm really hoping that this is coming to me because it's going to be like within 20 miles of my radius. I haven't checked yet because I'm like, I don't want to get too excited, but I just keep talking about it and the acceptance of that, which it will be near me so that I can be able to gravitate towards it. I am in New Jersey, so I am around several different states.
I'm literally trying not to grab my phone right now and look for it.
Yes.
I'm like trying to sit on my hands.
Oh, you guys are so sweet. You're so sweet. I mean, I really feel so blessed and honored to have been the one that put it out there. So many people they got the idea, but they
Yeah.
weren't crazy like me. I'm a Scorpio. I have a stellium in Scorpio. So I'm that crazy type A. If you tell me I can't do something, you know what? Get out of my way, because I'm going to show you that I can do
Right.
it. So that's
Right.
just my personality.
My
Yeah.
People
husband's a
have gotten the same
Scorpio.
download. Yes, total Scorpio.
Yeah, no, my husband's a Scorpio. You guys are hard.
My mom is a
No, we are.
Scorpio.
It is. We
Oh,
can be soft. I promise we can be. We can be very
Yes.
loving.
Yes.
But by nature, I think we dropped onto the planet in that sign because we had some shit to get done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
describes him too. It's like, oh, don't tell me I can't do it, just watch.
There's a saying up in one of this, I think it was in Idaho. She said, our saying here, when someone says you can't do something, they said, hold my beer and watch. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I love
Yeah.
that.
That's a classic, that's really a classic like identification, like just watch first before you try to do it. Experience it and see it through. And a lot of us, especially people that are coming up, people that are just starting to feel the call, right? Because individuals like ourselves, we've obviously felt the call quite early. Someone has to wake up everyone else. The rooster doesn't wait for everyone to wake up. The rooster crows.
Right. Right.
So, as other people are starting to come into being able to have these conversations, and they lean and they come around people like us, we get to give them that air of understanding that if it's coming from you, it's meant to come from your language. And
Hmm.
that's why like I felt that indicator to like, let's come in from there, from this language, because I feel like language needs to be healed in a way that we can remove the patriarchal understanding of it. Like, just because I put a definition on this sound does not mean it is the owner. The sound does not own the definition, and the definition does not own the sound. And we have been, like you said, hoodwinked to believe that if the doctor doesn't say it's curable, then I'm not going to be able to survive this, whatever
And
it
who
may
gets to put
be.
an expiration date on you? Like, no one gets to put, except for God or source, whatever word you use, but nobody gets to put an expiration date on you. But in my upcoming documentary, we talk exactly what you said about language and communication. It needs to change. When I say love to you guys, each one of us has a different view of that. When I say money, each one of us has a different view of that. When I say manipulation, each one of us has a different view of that. Well, so when we're talking to somebody and we say, oh, we need to manipulate your energy, and they're like, oh, manipulation, that's a negative word. When
Right.
you manipulate energy, it can be beautiful. When you
Yeah.
talk about money, it's all energy. Who cares? Money is not the root of all evil.
Yeah.
It's money,
No,
it's energy.
it's energy exchange.
Yeah. So we need to change our language. I think that's a brilliant statement. We need to understand how to communicate with people in their language that they understand and that is their love language or whatever. But yeah, it's definitely an issue.
Yeah. It's
So
a big
it's
part of that
interesting
we
you
need.
guys say that because when I do consultations, when I do my feng shui consultations, I'm back to feng shui, not the book. Um, I ask people what their birthdays are, and then I'll sit and figure out like what element they are, like what's their dominant element, because that helps me exactly what you're saying, Gail, figure out how to approach the conversation with them about their home, because different elements react differently to different things. I'm mainly metal. So I'm like, go, 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 get things done. I want it done quickly. I want it done yesterday, super organized. But somebody that's an earth element, likes all their tchotchkes and their knickknacks, and they like it slower and they don't want to move fast. And, so each and every element has a personality. And yes, half the battle is figuring out how to talk to somebody to have the conversation be productive. Right. So it is just really interesting to try and figure that out. And birthdays for me help me a lot. And house numbers too. I look at people's house numbers and it helps me understand the house too. So it's
Yeah.
just really interesting
Wow.
how you approach everybody to even start the conversations is a big part of it.
That's so
100%.
cool.
Yeah.
100%. And feng shui is like a really important aspect of all of what we're doing. I
Well,
really,
you're in your house. That's where you heal. If your
yeah,
house is not helping you heal, it's doing the opposite. So,
yes,
you kind of need your house to help you.
yeah.
So it's
I don't
hard to
think
get
I would
people to see that.
survive without my backdrop, and because this is in my space, so it's like I need to feel like nature is like right there with me all the time.
Yeah. I love that.
That's a really good point. When I did leadership training, we did the DISC personality profile, so the D, the I, the S, and the C. Now I'm a D. Everybody that around me knows that. Where you're just like, give me the bottom line, don't give me all the details, just tell me what's going on. And so I have people that work for me that are a C, and they're like, well, Gail, when I woke up this morning, like I got this email, and then
Oh,
this is what they said. I'm like, oh my God, tell me the freaking bottom line. I don't need to hear this. And so I have to learn. I'm like, oh, they're a
right.
C. I'm gonna just listen to other details, or there's
Yeah.
an S, and they're the steady type of people. And so I do it that way, not by birthdays as much, but that's brilliant. I never heard about people working within the elements. And so I really like that.
It just helps you understand the personalities that you're walking into a little bit better. You know what I mean? And I'd say about 85% of the time it's dead on. Sometimes it's a bit of a myth. Like you'll be like, there is no way that you are this. But it's just another tool to help me to be able to speak to my clients in a way that will help them. Right. Because if I come in with my personality and I'm like, and we're going to get rid of this and and they're the opposite, they are, let's say, an earth and they need their stuff to feel safe, we're not going to get anywhere. So it's just about figuring out how to approach a conversation to have it be successful for everybody involved, because it
Yeah.
also doesn't benefit me if I can't help them. Nobody
Yeah.
wins, right? They've spent money and I've spent time and we've gotten nowhere. So if I'm not speaking to them in a language that they understand, then it's pointless, So
It's very true. I can say, like, I'm one of those people. I definitely like it very direct, at points. And when it comes to, because I'm an earth energy, I'm a Taurus. So I'm a Taurus sun. And I literally had, I had to sell my house. I had to move out, because I had to. I had to get rid of whatever density was keeping me out of my vibration. But it was very difficult for me to get rid of like my material items. We are undercover hoarders, okay? And I had to just stop thinking about it. Like I had to detach my personal memory or expectation that I had for this item, because whatever expectation it was like before my concussion, that of which I probably don't have good memory of anyways. Just gotta get it, like just gotta let it go, just gotta move on. And I've removed a lot of things that I've had for like quite some times, and I have realized that, like, wow, maybe I am profusely, a little bit of like the older age people, to where you have some things for like some very long time. Like I literally just got rid of like a pair of pajamas I had since I was like 9. um and you sit there and you're so comfortable with it, like, oh, this has been the most comfortable shirt, gown, why do I want to get rid of it? And allowing yourself to like create that language back to yourself and say, hey, well, another beautiful comfortable shirt's not going to be able to come across
there you
your
go.
eyesight
There you
if you're
go.
still holding space for something that you're not going to let go of. And I'm like, bye. So I've been throwing things out.
What I like to tell people is, and most of the time people call me in because there's a concern, right? Every once in a while, I'll get the person that calls me in that just kind of wants to zhuzh up their space, but everything's going great. Finances are great. Relationships are great. Kids are great. Everything's great. I'm like, okay. Um, but most of the time I'm getting a call because there's an issue in one of the three main areas. So for me, the big issues are usually that I get called for are health, wealth, and relationships, right? All intertwined sometimes. But um, what I try to explain to everybody is keeping this worth where you're trying to get to. Like you need to start focusing on the life that what you're trying to manifest versus where you are. And my feng shui teacher did the most amazing thing for me, which I try and share with everyone, is she came and did a walkthrough because I actually hired her as a consultant. That's how it all started for me. I hired her to come and do a consultation, not knowing she was a best-selling author. Her book was translated into 9 different languages all over the world. I didn't know any of this. I just said yes to a friend of mine who said, hey, do you want to have this person come to your house? All I did was say yes. And, when the student is ready, the teacher appears, right? So she's walking around my house and she's like, this doesn't look like you. And again, I'm an interior designer, right? First and foremost. This doesn't look like you. This doesn't look like you. And I'm like, well, no, that's not mine. My parents had passed. And I'm like, inherited. Everything she pointed at was inherited. And she goes, and do you like it? And I go, no, I never even walk into this room. And she's like, do you think your parents would be happy that you're just keeping all this stuff that doesn't serve anybody, that's never, the room's not being used, there's dead energy in here? And I'm like, dead? I don't like that word. And she's like, there's dead energy in here. And she just said, I'm giving you permission to release it. And those were such powerful words. And I'm like, it took me back a second. And I was getting ready to go in for a very unexpected, out of nowhere cervical fusion. So I have a titanium plate that holds up my neck with 6 screws and cadaver bones and mesh and all that. I also have lower lumbar fusion. So I have 2 rods with 6 or 8 screws, 3 levels. So I think it's 6 screws, cadaver bones, mesh, all the good stuff there too. So I'm fused at my throat and at my root. And these surgeries were just coming right after the other. And so I was getting ready for the cervical one. And something just told me, it's like, let it go. Like, it's time to let it go, And the more we let go, the more things opened up. That's how Sedona came. Everything started just being unblocked and moving us forward as soon as we understood that not hanging on to this stuff means that you can allow other things to come into your life, and it's a really powerful statement. And it's a way to help people, again, understand, it's like, if you're hanging on to all those old love letters and things from ex-partners, but you're trying to call in a new partner, that other partner's energy is still there. So you've got to get rid of those things if you want to call in something new. And it's just getting people to understand it. Once they do, it's a little easier,
Yeah.
to let go, but
Well,
it
even
helps. And
with
again, it's,
people.
huh?
Yeah, even with people, like I had an employee that I was just like, I got to get rid of her, but I don't have a replacement for her. And I called one of my spiritual friends and he was like, Gail, how is keeping her holding or giving up the space for someone new to come in? And I was like,
Right,
but if I let her go, I don't have anybody to do this. He goes, you'll be surprised. Let her
right,
go. The other person will fill that space. And within a week they did. And I was like, okay. But I held on to her for so long, even though she was so disrespectful to me. And I told her one day I had a headache and she's like, don't be a big baby, just get over it. I'm like, I can't have a headache today. And that's not my
wow,
business. My business is about compassion. And just over and over, she would just be that way to me. And I was like, I need to get rid of her. But I held on to her. And by me holding on to her, I couldn't open that space up for the right
right,
person to come in.
right. From
Yeah.
a place of lack, right? A place of lack, a place of fear. It's like, if I let this go, oh my God, what's going to happen? Like, I'll never be able to find it again. And it's like, that doesn't work, but that's the mentality that a lot of us had, because that's generational, right?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of our parents and grandparents lived through the Depression, so you can clearly understand. And World War I
That's
is
what
over there
I'm
too.
saying to
Yeah, I
people.
mean, you understand why, because they went through things that made them that way. But we don't have that kind of environment and that kind of world anymore. You don't have to hang on to, the little piece of wrapping paper that, you cut out and kept, that's this big, that's now sitting there for 3 years because you're going to find just the right thing to wrap with it. Like, just put it in the recycle bin and let it go. Because
Let it
all that just
go.
accumulates, but it's, I mean, I clearly understand why we all have a lot of that, and
Yeah.
my mom was a down low hoarder, and I didn't know until she passed either. So I feel you there. She had boxes and boxes of half used, like, guest soaps. Like, they would have gone to a hotel and stayed there. They used the
Oh,
soap. She kept the
no.
box. She brought back half the soap, but then she just had it stored. Like, nobody was used. So I'm like, my brain doesn't compute this. It just didn't.
My mom had about 200 bottles of the shampoo and conditioner.
Yes.
And I remember cleaning out the closet. The whole shelf was full of it. And I grabbed a hold of all the 200 bottles. I'm like, sorry, mom. And they all went right
Yep.
in the trash bag. I
Isn't it?
was
And
like,
it's so sad, right? But it's like, oh, I feel so sad that your brain made you feel the need to hang on to this with all that just in case.
Yes.
So yeah, so our job is to help people understand that you need to let go in order to call new things in. And that goes for everything, right? That's part of the spiritual journey. That's
Yeah.
part of everything. You're going to need to let go of people,
Yeah.
of things, of places, of experiences. It all goes hand in
The
hand.
new thing is letting go of hiding your spiritual gifts.
Yes. Yes, that took a minute.
Yes, because we're not getting crucified anymore. Not the blatant way they used to back in the
Right.
day. So that just in case goes a very long way.
Hmm.
And a lot of people will be like, well, just in case, don't tell anybody. That grandma visits you at night and tells you
Right.
what you should do or not do, and what auntie, uncle's doing or not. Now it's like, no, like feel that. Like
Yes,
if
absolutely.
you feel an inkling that has said, you know what, give yourself some space and you need to share it with someone to figure out if that's a sane thought or not, by all means, being able to find that comfortability, it is so new for our people because we don't have the
Right.
conversation for it.
Right. Do
I
you
know.
guys find that when you kind of ask a little question to kind of see where people are, that if you start sharing, I find more and more that people are like, I've never said this to anybody, but, and then they start sharing back. Like, I
Yeah.
think that's so rewarding because I
Yeah.
know how I felt. I was scared to death and I got called evil and of the devil and, you name it, I've been called it. And I'm like, that's fine. I am a witch. Sure. Call me
Yeah.
whatever you want. I don't care. This,
Yeah, I got attacked by Channel 4 News and they call me a witch doctor and all kinds of stuff.
like,
But yes, I mean, the
sure.
more vulnerable we are with people, I think the more they open up to
Yes.
us.
Yeah.
And that's what I find as well. I go to the cashier at the grocery store and she's like, hey, how are you? I'm like, it's not the best day.
Yeah.
Most people just go, yep, I'm good. And they're not. And you can tell
Right.
they're not good. And
Right.
Right.
so they'll say, I'm good. And I will tell them, I'm like, you're not good. But, at least you're faking it. Maybe fake it till you make it. But, and they're like, you know what? You're right. I am not good today. My dad fell down the stairs and I'm at work. And I'm like, well, then don't say you're good. Like,
Right.
be authentic, be honest, be vulnerable. And I've had cashiers go, can I give you a hug? I'm like, absolutely. And they come out from behind the thing and they give me a big hug
Oh,
and I love it. I think it's the energy, like you said,
right.
Alejandra. Your
Yeah.
energy changes. And when you spend time in a place of gratitude and love and everything's flowing in your life, people want to be around you.
Yes. I used to get triggered when people used to be like, "Well, I don't talk to anyone like this unless when I'm with you." And I used to be like, "Well, what makes me so different? I'm just a person. Like, why are you trying to act like I'm doing something different?" I understand now. I am doing something different. It just didn't correlate for me because I was always being in my being. And this was before I had like a proper conversation for what I was being.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, I call myself a fairy in Wonderland.
Mm.
Life just didn't hit me the way it did for other people. At least when I would share my story, because people would be like, oh, you sound like you just had like a fairy tale dream. And I'd be like, did you not hear what I just said? But obviously I make it sound good. And so I'm like, okay, I'm starting to understand that my etiquette for life gets expressed very differently and it creates different sounds from people. It What it does is it lands us in an intimate place for them that they don't usually let people in because
Mm-hmm.
they think they're not letting people in, but the reality is other people aren't letting themselves out. So people like us are just like walking around, just walking up to people's auras like, hi, how you doing? And they're like, what are you like? No one ever comes here. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I'm here all the time. And being able to be more understanding of that and not rushing other people to be in alignment has been a really big transformative like skill set for myself, because without it, I feel like I would just like skittle bomb everybody's world, and everybody's not ready for skittles.
No, they're not. And that's okay, you know? That's okay.
It is okay. And what makes it easier is that I'm able to see that now.
Hmm.
Because like that's been my feng shui of life. Like how can I still show up in people's life knowing that I am the reorganization that they've been looking for in the most nicest of ways. So I just keep working on myself. I keep showing up for conversations like this. And allow myself to be open to that healing, being open to what it is that I have offered to myself, because I do feel very honored when individuals come onto my platform and they can speak vibrational sounds that they might be saying different words, but it's coming from the same heart space. And that's the feng shui I want it and to be able to see in my life. So it doesn't matter what's coming out of their mouth, like it's coming from the heart space. I can handle that.
Yeah, I'm not always the most or the softest person to talk to. When I used to tell people that came in my center, I'm like, you don't come in here to be a victim. And this lady would come back over and over, month after month after month, and just tell me the same sob story. And I finally said, "What is good in your life? Like, I don't want to hear the same story." And I always tell people, if you have something you want to change, then don't complain about it. Do something about it. And that's what I do. I do that myself, even with this gas and oil stuff going on in my property. I'm not just complaining about it. I'm making calls to Chevron. I was on the phone with Chevron today in my county and FRICO, which is another water conservation project. And I'm talking to the general managers and my neighbors are like, oh, they're scary. And I even told the guy Scott today, I was like, listen, you're like a monster in our neighborhood. And he's like, I am? And I said, yeah, he was really nice and he was helpful today. And, but I don't let people be the victim and I'm
Right.
not the victim. And it's just like, you know what? You can't be the victim. What's good going on in your life? And I'll tell you what, after I said that to her, she never came back. She wanted to be the victim.
Right.
And
I
I
think
wasn't
some
going to
people
let
do.
that happen.
Yeah. I think
Yep.
some people do. I'm actually, because they've told me I am responsible for 2 divorces. And I mean that in the best way possible, because I had some very dear friends who, we'd walk, we'd go out at sea multiple times a week. And it was the same thing. Like the conversation was the same every single damn time. And I was like, finally, I just stopped one day in the middle of a walk and I'm like, are we going to be having this conversation 2 years from now? Because if so, I'm out. Like we've been talking about the same thing, same problem for at least 3 years now. Like if you're not going to do anything about it, then I don't want to hear about it anymore because I've been supportive. I've done all the work with you, but you're not doing anything to change your life. And I'm not just going to keep hearing it because this is my time out in nature. I don't need to hear the same problems. Like it's not, and it's just the same thing over. It's like on repeat, like what you're saying. And it was the victim mentality, right? And she filed and she's as happy as can be. And, about 10 years later, almost the exact same scenario with another good friend of mine. And she filed and she's as happy as can be. And, I think sometimes that is helpful to people too. It's almost like to wake them out of it. And if they are going to want to do something about it, they will. If not, they're going to do exactly what you said. They want to continue to play the victim. And then there's nothing we can do at that point. I think
Well,
they
it's
have
the
to
whole thing
just,
that you were talking about earlier.
yeah,
Letting something go so something better can come into your life,
yeah,
whether it's a comfortable shirt or a
yeah,
partner. And
yeah.
my mom told me, she's like, I didn't raise you that way because I was raised Catholic, and it's the
Me
sacrament of
too.
marriage. And I was
Me
like,
too.
I would rather be happy than miserable. So I am divorced twice. Am I proud of it? No. Should I not have said I do in the first place? Probably not. But I'm also not going to stay in an unhappy marriage or an
Right.
unhappy friendship or anything like that because I'm better than that. And we are all better than that. We need to start learning that we deserve happiness. We deserve joy. We deserve to not be belittled and criticized. And so that's what I want to inspire, people to find that place of happiness and go get it.
Right.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And hey, you're still getting rid of the just in case clause. So sometimes people get married just in case they never get a chance to. And that,
Absolutely. That's
and
okay.
yeah, and that's okay. Like we are here to experiment. And I think that gets lost in translation as well because we get so, I'll be honest, our human form is so beautiful. It of course we're gonna get distracted, you know. It, it's the most physical thing we got that we're working with here. And to be in remembrance of like this is all to create accolades of our acceptance, if we could just keep reverberating that into our minds, like how much further would it get us? You know, I always attempt to identify like when if someone is trying to play a victim, and I'll let them know, especially if it's like a client or someone that's attempting to be a client, and I'll let them know that, you know, my clients don't normally just disappear unless it wasn't authentically
Mm-hmm.
for them.
Right.
And you know that that's okay. That's nothing against my coaching ability. It's means that my coaching did exactly what it needed to, which was to send you where you should be, which is probably not with me. And that is the utmost lesson that we every single day are being led to like understand on the most like smallest and the biggest scales. Like I bought a plant today and it died later, and it's like, was it me? We can use anything to create a victim mentality. And so the more we allow ourselves to move through it instead of running from it, we're going to get more out of it, you know, from the experience versus, all right, you know, this plant died, instead of just throwing it out like, you know, why did this plant die? What was it where it was at in the store for too long? Did I just take it too quickly? Or am I thinking it's dead and it has a chance to revive? Because I've seen some green thumb people. They'll pick up some really ugly things off of that discount cart and bring it home, and it's nice and lavish, and you wouldn't have thought it was ever going to die. So, you know,
Yeah,
one
I just
person's
acquired
garbage is
a
another person's
bonsai.
treasure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I just acquired a bonsai tree from a farmer's market. And the guy told me, you know, he was, you guys are gonna laugh because he was Asian. I'm like, he knows what he's talking about, right? Because he sold me this tree. And he said, water every 2 days and
Hmm.
don't put it in sunlight and then
Hmm.
fertilize it every 3 months. I'm like, okay. So I come home and I put it on my calendar, water it every 2 days. The leaves started falling off.
Yeah,
All
you
the leaves
drowned
fell
it.
off. Well, and I told my boyfriend, I was like, I don't know what happened. He goes, it's dead. He goes,
Yeah.
it's dead. I'm like, no, I am not giving up on this thing. It just died. So it's still going to have some life into it. And I can tell you right now, it has tons of leaves on it and little white flowers. I didn't even know it was going to flower. And I'm thinking, I just didn't give up on it. I mean, there's been plants that have died on me for sure, but I was like, I can't give up on this little bonsai. Plus, it was $80. I'm like, I'm feeling like I'm throwing $80 out, out in the trash. And so I didn't give up on it. So I found its love language.
Less water, more sun.
Yeah,
Probably.
I
I am
agree.
a plant lady, so
Yay.
yeah, I probably have over 100 plants in my house. It takes
Wow.
over an hour to water. Yep.
Speaks
Wow. I
line.
have this crazy peace lily. My mom could
Beautiful.
never get a peace lily to bloom. And I think this is my mom, from the other side.
I
Because
love
this
that.
little
But
thing,
the
it
universe
has
agrees.
Yeah, what is
it
that?
has like, yeah, right. I saw that. I went like this and it gave me the thumbs up.
So weird.
But yeah, this plant, it's like it's got like 7 or 8 blooms on it, and it always does. All winter, it's not supposed to. All
I love
summer, all spring,
that.
it's crazy.
I love that. But don't you love that she's around and that's how she's showing herself to
Yes.
you?
Yes.
My
Yes.
mom
We
gave me all the chapters for my book. Every single chapter is
oh
a song
nice.
title. And they all came from her because as I was writing it, I'd get words or lyrics that would just come to me. And I'm like, what the hell? And I'd just write them down. And then when I was working with one of my favorite healers out in the desert, she said, oh, your mom's here. You know, she was a medium. And she said she wants to come through more through music. And I'm like, oh, so that's what's happening. And no matter what I was writing about, whatever the song was or the lyrics were, and half the time I didn't even know what they were, I'd have to go look it up, matched perfectly with whatever the chapter was. So that's how she's,
That's
so I think it's
amazing.
really cool when they're around us all
Yeah.
the time. My husband's dad sent us dimes. We find them in the most random of places. And I mean random, like undoing a bed at a five-star hotel and it's in the clean bed, one dime.
Yep.
Like
Wow.
that's crazy.
My
So
dad, my
it's
dad was
really
dimes
fun.
and pennies. Yep,
Dimes
my dad's
also.
dimes and pennies.
I love that.
And
I think it's so fun.
yeah, he was because I had an agreement with him. When I saw him July of 2017, and I said, Dad, I'm never going to see you again in this physical form. And he said, well, when we die, we go in the ground. That's it. It's over. And I'm like, well, what if
Mm-mm.
you're wrong and what if I'm right?
Yeah.
And he said, well, I'll communicate with you with change. And so after my dad died, my brother, my sister, myself, dimes and pennies in the most craziest places.
Yeah.
Like you said, I even found a 10 euro when I was in Europe right after he died. It was a 10 euro. And my mom was so upset. She's like, your dad's not communicating with me and I'm so sad. And she kind of brought herself down so much that she died 11 weeks later.
Oh.
But as she was telling me this story, she's like, oh my God, here's another white feather. She's like, there's white feathers blowing in the garage. She's like, I'm throwing them all away. There's white feathers all over the side of the house. And I'm like, Mom, that's Dad. And she's like, what? Wait, what? And I said, she had a whole bag of white feathers.
Oh my
And I said, that
gosh.
is so cool, Mom. That is Dad communicating with you. And he's probably like, this woman is clueless. She's like leaving feathers blowing in the garage. She's finding them everywhere. She's throwing them away. And so when I told her how cool it was, so when she died, she would leave me white feathers.
I
And I'd
love
find them
that.
everywhere. But they were like little tiny, like she
Yeah.
was mustering up this, and it was so hard, and a poof, here's a tiny little white feather.
I love that so much.
It's so
So my
cool.
my my wildest one is we were in Aspen for over Father's Day weekend. We step into the elevator. There's a dime. So I'm like, okay, hey dad, meaning Art's dad. And then we're
Yep.
walking down the side of a mountain. So the grass in the summer and as you know, you're in Denver, the grass is at least 12 inches high. There's just fields. So we're
Yep.
walking down the Snowmass Mountain and it's just covered in grass. And I look down and I get chills as I say it. I'm about to step on and I go, what is that? And it is 16 quarters on June 16th, which was also my father's birthday and Father's Day.
So cool.
And I'm
Wow.
like, happy birthday, Dad, and happy Father's Day. And because at first I was like, $4. What does $4 mean? Like I couldn't quite make sense of it. And I was telling my son and daughter-in-law, and my daughter-in-law goes, no, it's 16 quarters. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it
I
is
love
16
it.
quarters. I was just going by the dollar amount, which didn't mean anything, but it's 16 quarters on his birthday on Father's Day on the side of a mountain in grass.
Awesome.
So,
Awesome.
yeah.
And people think that death is so scary. I have a better relationship with my mom and dad since they've passed than I did when they were in the
I
physical
mean,
form because they were judgmental, they were critical, and they're just love.
I
And
say
if
the
we only knew
same thing.
love, yeah, yeah. It's so crazy. I love it. I mean, they're around all the time and they're just beautiful beings. And I mean, I'm not, I don't know. How about you guys? Are you afraid of death?
No, not anymore.
I'm very mindful of when I talk about it on this show. I'll tell you that. Um, I like to talk about it though. I'm not scared of it. And when my grandfather passed away, someone, said, my giving them my condolences. And the first thing that, Spirit had me say out loud was like, um, he's on the other side rooting for me now. Like he's my spirit team. So like I'm good. Like
Yeah.
so and that's when I started to like really start telling people that when we start stepping into these roles, the people that can be our biggest advocate in the non-physical are going to be called to
Hmm.
be in their positions. And so if someone's going to pass away right now during my infamous expansion, not physically excited about it, but energetically I definitely accept uh, the transition of it, and
Hmm.
I seek to you like really honor their passing with a piece of who they are, which is something that a lot of people usually typically do. But I'm just giving it like more conversation, and I'm not just like embodying it. And uh, like, I'll give you, for instance, my Elite Motivation business. When I created it, apparently like Elite Motivation has already been taken. And so my website is Elite Motivation 411. And so I do say Elite Motivation 411. And when that came up, the 411, I didn't know why Spirit was like, just put the 411 there. I don't know. I didn't know why. For me, I was like, oh, what's the 411? I'm thinking that or whatever. But then my cousin passed away, and this is years later or whatever. And her birthday is on 411, and it never dawned on me. And she's like one of the family members that she had diabetes. I think it's the type 2 one that you have from like birth, and it
Type 1 for
yeah,
birth.
type 1, right? So she had the
For
type
birth.
1 for birth, horribly, it does to the person's life. And it didn't stop her from wanting to still reach like pivotal moments in her life. She still tried to get pregnant. Crazy. She was crazy. But I always like admired her for still seeking out a way to live life and not allowing something that she was born with to be something that helped her. So when she passed away, I was like, oh my God, I have already embedded a piece to help me remind myself that I can keep bringing her spirit in.
Mhm.
And so when I do my EM healing music, I release it every 411. I do two dates. I do 411 and 1111. So 1111 for me, 411 for my cousin. And it just helps to, bring along that memory,
Mhm.
bring death with us. Don't leave it in the past, and it won't drag us down. That's what I say.
That's beautiful. Very
Thank you.
beautiful.
It's
So
2020 a lot.
my son's wedding date is 11/11. They chose to get married on 11/11. Isn't that cool? I
That's
know.
cool. I
It
love
was
that number.
awesome.
Yeah.
I was like, yes. They had all sorts of dates, and I was secretly like 11/11, 11/11. And then suddenly they called me. They're like, Mom, guess what? Something opened on 11/11. I'm like, and are you going to take it? So it was beautiful. But yes, I love that date. It's so special for us.
Yes, I do. I love those portal moments. November is a very big month. As you know, that's the Scorpion month.
Mhm.
And so like and it's also like now also like my other cousin passed away too. They were just really two big lives that I was a part of. They're obviously younger. They're in my generation. And so they were just two big people that represented like wanting to like live life out loud, and seeking how to be authentic to do that. And if I can do anything to help expand like what they were looking to witness, that I can help them witness it through me. So I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best to keep my ups. I think about, because my cousin, like, she was really bad at one point. She was in a coma, I think, for like maybe a year or two before she woke back up, and she wasn't cognitively there the same anymore, but she still had that bright dissemin like that brightness, and not just brightness, but also willingness to like take like action. And so like I had, my kids were little at that time and rambunctious, and she was sitting there like, if you don't sit down, like she didn't opt out.
Mhm.
She looked for ways to opt in. So that's what death does for me. It creates more ways for me to opt in. So I like it, but I also have to like not like it that much. So that's why I said at the beginning, I'm very mindful.
Right, right. We're not asking for it today. We're just saying
No,
we don't feel the
it's
same
part of
way about it
life.
as we used to, right? Yeah. My parents
Yeah,
went
it's
six
part of
months
life.
to the date from each other as well.
Wow.
Yours were 11 weeks. Mine were six to the
Yeah,
day.
they were
Yeah.
together for 50 years. That's what
Yeah.
they were together 50
Wow.
years. And yeah, my mom's like, my dad passed away. She's like, I have nothing to live for anymore. Oh, woe is me, no one cares about me, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, Mom, I called her every day and she manifested a brain aneurysm. And both of them were pretty much medical errors. She had some medicine she was on that she shouldn't have been on. It's a long story, but she manifested a brain aneurysm and died. So
Yep. My dad manifested an infection and like stupid infection. He just fell and cut his shin. And he's like, I'm going to be dead in 9 days. And he was. And I'm like, excuse me? He turned septic. So he was, my mom went first. My mom had a massive heart attack out of nowhere at 66. And yeah, my dad completely just kind of did the things that he wanted to do, wrapped everything up, and then was done. And, actually, we were kind of happy for him at that point because he just didn't want to be here anymore without her. And
Right. That's a big shift in a conversation. I
I
feel
know
like,
we've been all over.
yeah, like, well, it's really everything. It's life. This is
Right.
we are journeying. We are
We
journeying.
are. We are. We've traveled. We've talked about plants. We've talked about that.
And it all goes to, we can't heal in just one place.
Right.
It's gonna bring us all over the place.
Yep.
And it's gonna make us question, are you gonna get frustrated from all over the place stuff? Or are you gonna get interested about the places that the stuff is taking you? That's what Spirit just said to me.
That is beautiful.
Thank you. I allow Spirit to speak through me.
yeah, no, that is so beautiful. And I love my life, and every day is a new journey and every day is a new challenge. And my last podcast, I think day before yesterday, he said, what is your definition of consciousness? And the last thing that I said is just learning how to be. I kind of had a couple definitions for it, but just learning to be and to be in the present moment. That's the only moment we really have.
Yeah, it is. It's big. It's a big part. And honestly, it's there's two things that are guaranteed when you're in this body, life and death. So to talk
Your
about one
taxes.
without the other. Say it again.
So don't
I
forget
heard it in my
taxes.
head. You said it, but I heard it in my head.
You said in your taxes.
Don't
That's a
forget
big
taxes.
saying. The
Yeah.
only things guaranteed are death and taxes. That's like just a huge
Yeah.
saying.
Right, I know.
That's all the stuff in between, right?
Right.
And I think it was like a mentor that was saying, like, they wrote on the board life in the line and then death. And they're like, this right here
The
is where you
dash.
get to make your statement. Everything else is made for you already. And I'm like, dang, why do people have to come with this philosophical stuff at these moments when I'm trying to feel some type of way about life right now? And it's like you're leading somewhere. And I like to emphasize that we can allow death to happen in our life so many times in so many different ways that when physical death is met in any kind of a volume, it will be brought with more grace because we weren't clasping so much for it, And so I seek to find ways to reminisce, like I was saying from the beginning, looking at old pictures from me. That's not me anymore. That person is dead. They're gone. We can never get back our 2-year-old size. Person's gone.
It's true. Yep.
So we've died so many times, but we don't acknowledge so many times. And I feel like that's one of the things that has gotten us lost in our conversation, because we want to make ourselves feel like I have every moment. And we do have all moments, but we don't have tomorrow's moments, because a lot of us put thoughts in tomorrow and a lot of us put thoughts into yesterday, and it leaves very little room for today.
Mm-hmm.
And so being able, I feel like, talking about it, bringing it forth, it's like kneading the dough. Like, yeah, there was those times when I almost killed my plants, but I brought them back to life. And maybe at that moment of watering your plants for an hour made you think about your mom for a little bit. And it gives you that grace, And that's what we strive for when we're working with other people. You know, we're here leading and being in that example. And the most like nicest thing that we can give to others is to feel okay with showing up how the moment allows us to show up. Because some people ask me, "Oh, what are you going to talk about today?" And I say, "Well, I've already set the stage. The name of the podcast is EM Healing. I mean, if we come in here talking about bobos and pacifiers and what the difference is, hopefully it's a healing conversation, you know? So being open to like holding space, and like I have these two wonderful ladies that are coming, and I'm going to wait until I step into their presence for us to see what we can manifest versus trying to have a strict dialogue of what's coming forward. I've already set some perimeters. You may or may not have been here already. You may or may not have something to talk about right now, but we're going to figure it out in this moment. I even set a really big space for us to do that. Some people create the space for it to be there, and some people don't. It works how it needs to. And I think that's a really beautiful story that we can share with us and our people, to be able to just keep watching, because there's so many feathers of ourselves, and we can't let people just keep seeing our front side. We got to allow them to see like our wings do spread out. You know, if I'm talking to you, it's because my wings are in rest, but I do fly around and I do get to soar. And I appreciate soaring with you ladies. This has been so beautiful.
Thank you.
This is wonderful. So, okay, I think this is a great place to allow ourselves to start, closing up this portal and acknowledging the reason that you're able to be in this space. And you have the book. I would love for you to just share a little bit, Alejandra, about your book, so people can know about it. I love to promote people that have healing books here, as well as healing eggs. So um, be a great time for you to just share something empowering that is coming forward for you right now, and how you help the community be empowered as well.
Sure. Well, my book is called I Just Can't Make This Shit Up. And it is the story of I know everyone laughs, but I'm like, you know what? That's the name of it because it had to be. She decided what her name was, and I'm just rolling with it. It is about my spiritual journey. And the entire reason that I wrote it, because I had no interest in becoming an author, no interest in becoming, quote unquote famous or doing all this that I'm putting myself out here doing whatsoever. There's even talk of a show. I'm like, all out of my comfort zone. Nothing that I ever was interested in doing. It is so that other people who, as we mentioned somewhere along our conversation, who are just starting out, I want it to serve as almost a guide for them, because it's the book I wish I would have had 7 years ago when all of this stuff started happening to me and people were calling me names and I was having these crazy experiences. I didn't have the language for it. I didn't have the terminology. I didn't have the teachers. So I mention, with their permission, all the teachers I actually have worked with around the world in the book too, in the back, so that it can serve as a resource for others if they feel called to work with them. And it's just my journey. There is some feng shui in it. Everybody thinks that I wrote a feng shui book because I'm a feng shui expert. There are amazing books already out there on feng shui, so I did not do that. There is some in there because it was kind of like my gateway drug to the spiritual world. When I aligned my home is when all of this started happening and moving and grooving and shaking. When I got rid of things that weren't serving me is when all of this opened up. So that's my book. I also, Gail, as you were saying, I did not write it. It got channeled through me, but I did create the only, as far as I'm aware of up to this point in time, feng shui oracle card deck. And it's called What Should I Feng Shui Today? So I do virtual consultations all over the world, but if people are not ready to work with me or want to try and go for it themselves, then by the time you go through that whole deck, you'll have feng shuied your whole house. So, but that got channeled through me in 3 weeks. And again, I started out by saying no, just like I said no to the book, just like I said no to Sedona, just like I said no to being a feng shui, practitioner and going and getting certified. And Spirit's just like, oh, no, we're going to give you shingles on your entire face, neck, and head so that you
Noted.
can't leave the house for 3 weeks. And guess what you're going to do in those 3 weeks? We're going to channel through you. So this whole little oracle deck got written while I could not leave the house because I looked like a freaking monster for 3 weeks. So I'm learning how to work with spirit to the point where I don't need to be shut down physically anymore before I say yes to things.
You might as well just put it in your yes book when you hear a no.
Now I just go, okay, if you guys want me to do this, because it seems really scary again, like this TV show that's in play, um, it's like you're gonna need to bring me the people. I need my helpful people who are gonna help me get this, and you're gonna have to show me what you want from me and how you want me to do it. But I don't just say no anymore. I just say, okay, but you guys need to guide me because this is a new world yet again. So that's how I approach everything now. It's like, all right, just bring me what I need to get it done because I can't just, it doesn't go from being told you're going to write a book to having a book the next day. Like we have to do our inspired action too, right? When spirit's talking to us, we have to put our work in as well. But if you're being asked to do something that you have no idea how to do, then it's like, all right, then I need some help doing this. So that's, Gail, I don't know if you know, but you've had two orbs behind you the entire conversation. They just kind of flow up and they flow down in the screen behind you. It's really pretty.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's
I've
like
heard that before. I actually see one now, but I wasn't really paying attention.
Yep,
So
they're two.
yeah.
They'll go up and they'll go down. There they are. There's one and two. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
Someone,
thought
And
that it was like a reflection outside. Not so much anymore.
no, I
I
think
did.
she's
I
got
I don't
some
know.
guides in there.
yeah,
I love
My
yeah.
it.
whole room is painted with quartz crystal powder. So all the paint has quartz crystal powder. So I'm
That's
sure it
beautiful.
attracts
There you
some
go.
different kind of energies. But I mean,
That is
I hear your story and I'm laughing so hard because I said no to my book as well. I said, no, not going to do it. And the universe said, yeah, you are. So I said, well, just put anonymous on there. I don't want to be famous. I don't want people to know who I am. Let's just put anonymous writer on there. And my editor was like, nope, you have to let people know who you are. And then
Yep.
I just kept saying no to things. And so the book came out, and then they're like, oh, now you're going to do a documentary. I'm like, nope, I'm not
Yeah.
going to do a documentary. That gets released on September 18th. Um,
Congrats.
yeah. But it's the same thing. I said, well, if you want me to do this, you better show me how because I don't
Right.
have any clue how this is going
Right.
to go down. So yeah,
Right.
it's the same thing. I was, okay, let me write a book. Now they're like, you're going to do another book, and it's going to have all the people that you interviewed in the movie, but expanded. We're gonna expand their story because the movie's only going to be 49 minutes, but it's called It's Time. It's time for more love. It's time for more kindness. It's time for us to be less judgmental. It's time for us to have more love. So the movie ends with everybody's definition of love. But I think it's going to be really inspirational. I hope it goes viral and people start to shift and do more things in love and kindness. And one of the quotes in there is judgment is the only thing that separates us.
yes. I've been speaking about judgment all week. Yes, it's the only thing that separates us. And I know I have a book in queue to produce. I haven't given it enough space, but Spirit definitely already gave me the name of it and the titles of the chapters. So it's there. It's something in regards to living the human experience in divine time, because that's what I talk about a lot, living in divine time. And so apparently I have this understanding that a lot of people don't have about divine time. And so I'm going to bring it out of here and put it in the physical in divine time.
In divine time.
Do it. Get it out there.
But until then, I do have an ebook series that I need to really start pushing through. I've only put out the first series of it. And mostly because it's like very spirit driven. It's something to help enhance people to be in their spiritual journey. And I feel like collecting all of the different experiences for people to like journey into will also be helpful. I feel like a catalog of experiences need to be in tandem with this ebook, because it's all about spirit writing and allowing your hand to move, to allow spirits to move through your hand,
Mm-hmm.
and allowing yourself to ask these certain questions. And sometimes that just brings up a lot. So like it's not like this big text to read, but it brings up thoughts and insights that require some, dialogue from books of like, I can't make this shit up, so that they can be, something to have resonance from, because our people need that resonance. And that's one of the reasons why I do these recordings, because this is a community awakening. This is a global awakening. And the more we can get our sound like already and record, the easier I feel like it is to share that with people, because we're not always going to be in this energetic stream. And so to be able to implement a timestamp, I feel like is where we can be most beneficial with using time. Because like I said, we're redefining the language of what we're talking and saying and being, and redefining timestamps to be a place of information instead of just past emotions. Because that's what a lot of people use timestamps for, I feel. So we're here to expand it and remove the injustice that has been brought to the word. That's what we're here for. So I really appreciate both of you for coming here and setting a new standard, putting me on my toes more, because I'm always looking to be pushed more. So as you say yes, I say yes. And thank you to the EM Healing community, those that have been listening on Facebook, and to all of the wonderful people that will be watching this on the replay. Please check out our full segment on our platform, Spotify, and you can see more and get all of the description of where you can find Gail and Alejandra in a later time, as well as finding out more about me and my discovery sessions and what it looks like to really be involved with your spiritual expansion. Much love and light.